Find Whiskey and Matty.
Oh, I'm Colin.
Good afternoon. I'm John.
And Colin, how are you doing this afternoon?
I'm all right, eh? I'm not bad. How are you?
Yeah, good, good. Apologies to folk for missing the old phone-in last night. Just had a few things on, so life got in the way, like day job got in the way. So, sorry if you were looking for the phone in. I'll be back next week. John, how are you? How you doing?
I'm all right. Aye, no complaints. What about you? How are you?
Just the same as I was a second ago. Aye,
You
just
listening?
exact same answer as just given.
Do you know I'm just in for the cold, so I'm going to blame that. It's been a busy day.
Good. Right. Let's get stuck into this. You should see on your screens just now Hibs Motherwell, which is the game that we are previewing. But before we get into that, we have a competition running. You'll notice there I've got the word competition. I tried to type this as I was talking to somebody earlier and had it just as competition. So I'm glad I spotted it before going live that there was a mistake there. There might be other mistakes as we go through the
When
back. We'll know the drill by now.
when you were typing it, were you saying in your head like competition to make sure that you spelled it correctly?
No, I still pronounce the word the same.
Right.
Always the same.
I mean, I
Right.
definitely say competition in my head.
So we have the competition, right? So that we are playing Clydebank next weekend. We will be there at hospitality as guests of Rare Find Whiskey. And we have a space at it's the Tornadoes Hospitality,
Pioneers,
isn't
isn't
it?
it?
Eh? Which one?
Pioneers.
Pioneers, sorry, yeah, Pioneers Hospitality. So you get your drink, you get your sit down meal, and you get some blether with us, as well as Greg from Leaf Spirits as well. Good guy. Promises to be a good afternoon. You should hopefully see a good Hibs win. To enter, we'll post the link up on the comments on YouTube before we finish. If you follow that link, and anybody who buys a bottle or scrolls down, there's free entry in it as well. That will enter you into the competition. And they're celebrating the launch of this commemorative 16-year-old whiskey. I forgot what I was going to say there. So it's a commemorative 16-year-old whiskey to sort of commemorate Paul Hanlon and Lewis Stevenson's time with the club. And there's going to be an event at Groucho's in Edinburgh as well that you can buy tickets for on that link. Also, right, let's
Do you
get started.
mean Gaucho rather than Groucho?
What did I say?
Grou-
Groucho?
Groucho's the
Aye.
club in London, isn't it? The celebrity
Aye,
club.
it's not there. Gaucho's.
Yeah.
Sorry. They should have thought about that when they were naming it. Like, does this sound like another one that some fanny's going to get confused with when he says it on a podcast where he's trying to remember what he's meant to say?
So we're whisking your way to London.
Aye,
You'll be in the
Wined
Groucho
and
club.
dined.
yep. Travel not included, or any other expenses. Right, Colin, talk me through your team for Motherwell. Right, more pressing matters. Like, we've got Motherwell tomorrow. It's a big game.
Yeah,
Talk me through your team.
pretty much the same as usual as it's been because I think we haven't brought anybody in. Still got the same injuries, I think. So I've went with Smith and goals again. I have Dylan Bashiri still. I brought Horo back in. He's been on the bench, so I'm thinking he must be close if he's been on the bench.
Yeah,
Brought him for Miller. I've got the two Caddens on the wide areas with Triantis. I've put Mariah Welsh in because I think Neil's maybe out for a bit. And he's been out, and I think there was a rumour kicking about that he's out for a couple of weeks still. So
yeah.
I've gone with that rumour as fact. Campbell ahead of them, and then I've went with Gale and Boyle up front. Although I saw Kuharevich was in the training photos today, so that's sometimes a clue.
I think David Gray said in the press conference this afternoon that Kukovic and Kieran Bowie would be available next weekend for the Clydebank
Next
game, but
weekend, I'd
this
heard
this
Bowie
is a
next
game too
weekend.
soon for them. Aye,
Right, okay, so they're
it's
not.
great news. Bowie coming back.
Yeah, yeah. So that's what. So it's pretty much. It's not really much change about Mariah Welsh. Could have went with Levitt. I could have went with Cohen, but I'm not. So it was Levitt or Mariah Welsh for me in there. And I thought, well, he was most recent, so he keeps his place. He wasn't that bad.
The decision to drop Quan's not really shown the last few games. Colin, that sort of guide your thinking on it.
Yeah, I don't think he's done that great since he's been here. Actually, I don't know if it was the hype because he's a Celtic player, because the St Mirren fans really talked him up for the handful of games he played for them. But I just don't think he's shown very much at all. So yeah, I'm not that impressed. I'd probably just let him go back.
And I guess saving same question about Lewis Miller. He had a bit of a stinking first half, at least against Rangers. He did play better second half, I thought, but no good enough to retain his place for you.
Not for me. I think if he's playing, it's instead of Cadden. I think that he's out of position playing back there. And I think having him and Bashiri, I think they've both got mistakes in them. And if you play them both, you're just doubling the chance of a mistake happening. So, and I'm not saying O'Hara's not, because he has made mistakes this season as well. But I just feel that they've got a longer history of it. I think not playing him out of position, and I'm not playing him in the same back three as Bashiri, effectively, if I can help it.
No question of swapping Bashiri out.
There wasn't really an option, was there?
I suppose you could have nudged O'Hara into the centre of the defence there and played Miller if you wanted to. Because obviously, I mean, Bashiri for all he scored, he had the mistakes. I really.
I actually saw a post on Hibs about it during the week, and somebody went through all the games he's played, because obviously he's getting a lot of credit for making the difference, because the upturn results just coincided with him coming back, and there is that, like there is you can't deny that's the case, but that's not the only change that's happened, so you can't really pin it all on it. But I think my dog's.
Oh, that's all right.
But I think that so the person went through all the games he's played and listed the good stuff and the sort of comments on the message board for each game, and it was genuinely almost quite a 50-50, if not just slanted more in the more mistakes than there has been good games. It was almost 50-50, but probably just slanted a wee bit more on the negative. It was quite interesting to see it written down game by game, because there's mistakes he's been punished for, but there's other mistakes that he's not being punished for as well.
So his net negative at the moment is a net negative 7.5.
It's very close. It's very close to being sort of zero.
Fair enough. Sandy had messaged in. I'll just run through Sandy's team. Not got it up on the screen, but I'll talk you through it because it's not a million miles off. So he had Smith and goals, O'Hara, Bashiri, and Iredale at the back. Cadden, Chantis, he had Joe Newland, but I think Joe Newland's going to be missing. Nicky Cadden on the left, Campbell, Yuan, and Boyle. I think Yuan's missing as well, going by what
He's not really getting mentioned, is he?
Today. Yeah. So I mean, not a great difference in the teams there, and Joe's also sent us in a team as well, which I'll just quickly run through. Yep. Joe shows Smith, O'Hara, Rocky, and Iredale, same back three as you. Chris Cadden, Chantis, Levitt, Campbell, and Nicky Cadden, and Gale and Boyle up the top. So again, not a lot of variety. John,
and I did consider Levitt. Sorry, I did consider Levitt, but and it might be a better option for this game, because you would think we'll have a lot of the ball and he's maybe better on the ball than Mariah Welsh. But I don't know. I've not really seen enough of Mariah Welsh. I feel like,
he had a funny game on Sunday, John, didn't he, Mariah Welsh? Like he came on, he was busy, did quite well, and then he had that sort of horror mistake where he's handed Rangers possession, which they ultimately got their third goal from. But he seemed to play his way back into the game after that as well.
I maybe overlooked that pass that's been short that Rangers have capitalised on, because I genuinely can't remember it, and I've not gone back to look at it because there was no need to. What I do remember of Mariah Welsh's performance on Sunday was the way that he slotted into the midfield and didn't disrupt it. So there were balls getting fizzed into his feet, and he was able to move it on again and kind of allow Hibs to build another attack. So I'm trying very much to look at the positive contributions, because I think within any game, I think every player is capable of a mistake. Some players are more capable than others.
Yeah.
But I didn't get the impression from Mariah Welsh that if he was to come into the team this week in replacement of Joe Newell, that it was going to be a bit of a risk. And I think from what we've seen from Quan in recent weeks, I think Colin and mine and Colin's teams are, I think, identical. And I think we've perhaps looked at it from the same perspective, which is try and have the same continuity in the lineup and try and minimise the risks with the replacements that you're making for the injuries.
Mm-hmm. And we're out of that cycle of midweek games now as well. You know, like we have a bit of space in between games, so the players get a bit more recovery time. So I think you're sort of, there's less risk involved in keeping the same team. John, I think I've got the exact same team as no, I've got Hoylett in for Campbell. I couldn't remember. I was sort of humming and hawing whether or not to play Campbell or Hoylett. My thinking there was Campbell very rarely puts like 3 or 4 or 5 games together, but he's been good. He's been good the last few games, I think. He had a cracking game against Rangers. It's been a wee bit unfair to drop him for the next one, but this is generally the sort of game where Campbell would be like he follows up a great game with one where he's no very good. And I think if you play Hoylett, it gives us just a wee bit more in attack. So that was the only reason for swapping out. But I'm not bored. If Campbell starts, I'd be more than happy with that as well. Other than that,
sorry, on you go.
other than that, I've got the same side as you guys. Mariah Welsh again comes in. I thought he did well. Considered Levitt, but I think Levitt's on his way out of the club. I can't really see him featuring for us again unless it's dire straits.
This time next year, if the Wrexham rumours are correct, he'll be on an all expenses paid trip after celebrating promotion in the next Deadpool movie.
Aye.
Just curiously, you've got Hoylett in there, but you've not been particularly complimentary of him in the last 4 or 5 games in his performances, and you've taken Campbell out.
Mm-hmm.
Can you justify that?
Yeah.
How?
No, you can't.
How can I know? Right. So what did David Gray do with Martin Boyle when he wasn't performing? He took him out the side for a few weeks. How was he managed early? Ewan has kept him out the side, put him back in. Rocky Bashiri as well. You look at Rocky's performances since he came back into the team. Generally been good, although you're saying they're calling it negative. But I think David Gray's managed players quite well and taking them out of the team when they're not being in form and putting them back in, and they've taken that chance to stay in it. So I would say Hoylett hasn't been great. I'd give him a wee run out in this game.
Just got to manage them all in the same way. Every player gets treated the same way, and anybody that's playing well gets taken out of the team just to bring somebody in that's not been playing well.
It's to keep Josh Campbell on his toes as well. It's like, Josh, you've got to be consistent. We can, you're probably not going to be consistent this time, so we'll take you out, and the next time you have a good game, we'll keep you in, and then you can prove you could do it a couple of games in a row.
Fuck it, take Triantisuit as well. Stick in Con.
Nah, Con needs to miss more. He's played the last couple, so he needs to miss more.
These are the kind of players that you do, by the way. You didn't do it with your back three, or you don't do. You know what I mean? It's just the attacking players that suffer for that kind of.
I think that your defence, you really want to keep it. Although we've all swapped to Miller.
Aye.
Your defence generally is the sort of the rule of thumb there is you keep it as consistent as possible, isn't it? That's like the one area of the pitch you need a.
But we're letting a lot of goals in. Like we're letting a lot of goals in, despite this run being not bad. We've let a lot of goals in over that 9-10 games as well.
We have.
We're getting loads of clean sheets, as much as we're sort of loading the defence. Like at times, we're letting goals in. We're scoring a lot more, and that's why we're winning games or drawing.
What are your thoughts on the goalkeeper now? We've had obviously it was a priority position when we were talking about this earlier in the season, but Smith, I think somebody posted, I can't remember where the source of it was, but it was like the stats for the save percentages, and Smith was quite high up in that list, wasn't he?
Yeah, it was playing Bothwell or something.
Was it?
I think.
Aye.
I think he's all right. Like I thought he was. I think he's decent. He's kicking and his passing is good. He makes saves. Obviously, the problem he's got is he came in. There was a negative perception around him because I think when you said he made a mistake at Kelty. He hadn't played a lot of games. He was signed for a team in a lower league, or his last games he played were for a team in a lower league down south. So folk came in with a negative perception of him, and then he didn't help it by letting 2 goals. Well, certainly one, I think 2 against Aberdeen were kind of. He had a big part in them. So he started on the back foot because of all that. People are too quick to make judgment. He's not played many games, and look where he came from. That didn't help him, but then he didn't help himself. But since then, like his save percentage, and that's, as you said, like 3rd or something in the league.
Was it the Aberdeen game where he was put in when he replaced Bursick?
Yeah.
Was it the 3-3 game?
3-3.
Mm-hmm. And when we moved to more of a 3-5-2, when was that? What game was that?
It was a bit then as well, was it not?
It was that because it was after the Obita got sent off against Dundee, so he hadn't been available. And that's what they did. They brought in the 3-5-2.
Yeah.
Because I wonder, I think Bursick suffered a wee bit from the way that we were trying to play at the start of the season. Like there were things that he could have dealt with better, but there were balls that he was perhaps receiving that Smith isn't now. Like we've changed the way that we play slightly. So I'm looking at the perception that
This is
Smith is
because
a better goalkeeper.
you've got Bursick as player of the
No,
year.
no, no,
So
no. Like I
He's
think
trying
I've
to
got
come back in.
previous. I think I've got previous for this, where I try and not to argue like the case one way or another. It's more to try and examine the circumstances behind the improvements.
No, it's interesting. I think one of the stats, and I know I don't want to bore everybody, but one of the stats I found interesting was the expected saves thing, the expected save stats, and he was negative, like three goals. He'd let three more goals in than effectively should have, based on the chance. Whereas Smith was positive, saved two goals more than would have been expected. I think was the numbers from the top of my head. We should really dig them out and repost them. But it was, and I don't know if that's to do with formations. That's to do with the opportunity that the striker has, or the person that scores the goal has. Which would tie up with the saves as well, because his save percentage was so high. He's making saves that XG would say he shouldn't make.
Right, we'll come on to the form in just a second. I'll catch up in the YouTube comments before we do that. And just a reminder, there's that link to enter the competition is on the YouTube comments as well. Martin said, "Good evening, guys. Glory to the Hibs. And is Levitt not worthy of a start? The rest of the team picks itself." Tom de Bombadil said, whenever I catch it live, I didn't get to watch it live as I'm always late and need to rewind it. Sorry about that, Tom. I reckon what we can do about that.
We could wait, Anna. Let's wait. How long's it behind?
Just sit for a minute, let you catch up. I should say how long it is. I'm sure everybody would be quite happy. And there was, who was it? Did a comedy sketch? Was it? Oh, I forgot. What's the Peter Kay? About his mum pausing the live TV and she thought she paused it for everybody.
Yes.
It'd be like that if we all wait for Tom. It'd be like that. Martin says, Levitt alongside Chantis would be my starting middle two. We are Hibs said Nathan Mariah Welsh over Levitt for myself. Kieran said Kwon is far too slow to play in our team. We play back to front. He can't keep up. It's a hard watch. Martin said I haven't seen enough of Mariah Welsh to know if he's decent over 90 minutes. And Campbell over Hoylett has been playing well. We are Hibs said need energy in the team. Being a strength of our side in this unbeaten run is being able to be energetic and hard working. Need Campbell in there. Goal threat also. And Craig McCallum said Levitt hasn't been nearly effective enough when he's played. Kieran says people act like Levitt hasn't had a chance. Played 38 games for Hibs. That's 38 chances, regardless if it's sub or starting. Not impressed anybody. Joe said agree with Martin. Levitt is definitely a better option than Kwon. Ross said looking at the injury list, Joe, Marv, Bowie, Ellie, Miko. With the exception of Miko, that is 4 starters for me. And Scottish Simon says Mona Hibs indeed. Right, form guide. John, we're sitting pretty at the top there. I mean, it has levelled off or dropped off a wee bit with the last 2 games being draws, only 2 points for 6, but that really positive 12 from 12 before that. Motherwell sitting down there in 10th. What do you take for this form guide?
Good question. I think it probably, if you look at the top of the form table ourselves and you look at the bottom Aberdeen, who had such a strong start to the season, I think it goes to show just how quickly things can change, like how fortunes can change. Because obviously, like if you were to look at the league table, I think Aberdeen are still 3rd, maybe even 4th. But they're concerned, bizarrely, like when they were talking about, I think there was chat of them winning the league at the start of the season. They are now concerned, and or at least one supporter was concerned because I saw the tweet referring to it where they were worrying how close that they were to Hearts, and it's just mental. And I wonder how much leeway we need to be given, like as Hibs supporters, how much leeway we need to be given the people in charge of the football club, not necessarily like the boardroom, but the folk on the pitch as well. Because as we discussed previously, it wasn't that long ago that we were talking about Gray potentially getting the sack. And he's since gone and, or him, the other coaching staff and the players have gone and taken 14 out of 18, which would have seemed like a pipe dream not too long ago. And I'm hoping, like although we talked about form levelling off last week, I think the circumstances of the St Johnstone game, ideally you would have taken 3 points, but they had a player sent off, went ahead, was all, they were all back to the wall. We got back into the game, which was good. And then I think the Rangers game, I said to someone at work that normally you should beat Rangers. Oh no, sorry, it was a direct message on Twitter I sent to someone. Normally, in normal circumstances, you score 3 goals against Rangers, you should win the game. But it was sort of individual errors and things that done us in that game. So I'm hoping that looking at the form table, as much as it's maybe like leveled off a little bit, that we can get back to winning ways and we can start building on trying to take 14 points or 18 because, as I'd mentioned last week as well, what we haven't had go in our favour is results for other teams going in our favour. Like we've not really, as much as we've taken 14 out to 18 and clawed ourselves away from the bottom of the table, we haven't been able to capitalise on, say, Dundee United dropping points or, we're getting closer to Aberdeen, but the teams around us, they've still been picking up unexpected points.
Well, John, you're absolutely right. Look at that form guide. Ross County, third, Hearts fourth. They're the two that we've been bottom of the league with all season.
Yep.
But
it's mental, isn't it?
First, third and fourth are in the table now. Brilliant to see Aberdeen standing free down the bottom there,
Standing well freed in there. Colin, I think one of the other notable things, there's 13 goals for Hibs in the last 6 games. Motherwell, only 5. Scoring goal seems to, probably the kiss of death now. We'll get a 0-0 tomorrow, but you would think there'll be goals tomorrow, yeah?
I think it'll be a tight game. Like Motherwell don't. Let's have a look here before I talk myself into talk shite. Motherwell don't seem to. We've looked at this before, and it's always narrow games, and I'm just trying to see that. Put the specs on.
They're -3 on their goal difference for the last 6 games. So conceded 8, scored 5.
It's the Celtic game there, the 4-0. So other than that, look, they're all close. So I think I can see, one goalie a difference somewhere, either way, or a draw. I can see it being. Don't think it's going to be high scoring. 2-1 something.
Martin mentioned on Motherwell should be feeling the effects of a midweek match, hence added energy for Campbell may help. Does it sometimes it can help you if you keep in that flow of games, because your players always say they prefer playing to training, etc. But I think the week off will benefit us more than that midweek game will benefit Motherwell.
Hope so. I think so. I mean, they've had the same sort of fixture list as us, and just an extra midweek, haven't they? So their squad's not going to be bigger than ours, you wouldn't have thought, like based on how many fucking players we've got. So you would expect them to be tiring, because I've not seen them signing many players yet either. So,
and then Dundee's draw with Rangers in midweek meant that we dropped down to 8th place. Motherwell are sitting there on 31 points. We're on 26. John, it's really important that we kind of make that 29 points to 31, isn't it?
Yeah.
6 points.
I feel like you're just saying it's a big game, it's an important game, it's a 6-pointer with other words. But you're right. Like that's, I don't know. Like what I was saying before about like other results not going our way. Like, is this? I don't know the exact fixture list ahead of us. I think we've got Motherwell. I think Celtic are at the end of it. We've got the Scottish Cup game after Motherwell. But I forget the other games. Like, is this now the opportunity for us to start taking points off the teams ahead of us and start closing that gap with a view to overtaking them? I think Dundee United are maybe in there as well.
Aberdeen.
And that,
yeah.
So like, if Aberdeen's form keeps up, and did we get them at Easter Road after we recently beat them at
Aberdeen?
Yeah.
First of
so
February.
There's opportunities there to try and keep that momentum going. And I think what you were saying about like the run of games. So like when you remember when we went into the Scottish Cup final, like we'd been playing constantly on a variety of fronts, and Rangers I think had like about a fortnight off. And my concern at that time was, well, are we going to be too tired going to the Scottish Cup final? But actually, I think the reverse was true. We still had let's call it muscle memory in the legs going into the final stages of the game, and they looked like they started to switch off. So I think because of the number of games that we've had recently, where was it Thursday, Sunday routine, like when you're dealing with that heavy schedule list, we've been continually eking out those points, getting the wins, getting the scrappy draws, whatever it happens to be. And I think because of the team spirit that they have, that they're showing just now, that's going to add into that. And hopefully with that wee bit of a break, that's going to mean fresher legs to complement that team spirit, and hopefully that means they can go, if they find themselves up against it, or whatever, 0-0 going into the final 10 minutes. Hopefully that gives them the strength of character to go in and get that late winner if required. But prior to that, I think we're going to win 3-1.
Good. Well, there was a comment on YouTube. Just like it's hidden, double dangerous. Said Motherwell are fucking shite and we should pump them 3-0 Hibs. That's the sort of confidence I like to see. And I'm a bit annoyed at YouTube for hiding that as well. I had to go hunting for it, but
It's because he's swearing.
aye, it must be that. But they obviously didn't care who they're dealing with here. Right, the Diego Garcia name that was bandied about earlier on. We've done some digging. Believe there's nothing in it. Potential Spanish striker coming to the club. Who knows? Who knows? Watch this space, I suppose.
The ITKs will know.
Aye. The word was out there. That sort of rumour was doing the rounds earlier on. So I had a few messages confirming, a few messages denying. So we're in the dark. It is 11 games in La Liga this season. 1 goal. John, would you take him?
Is this guy's name legitimate? Diego Garcia?
Yeah.
Wow. I assumed when I heard the name earlier that it was the island in the Indian Ocean that serves as a strategic military airbase, secretive airbase.
You weren't meant to tell anybody about that, John. That's it. We're all going to. We're on. Our lives are all now in danger now. You hear that shout about secret military bases on YouTube.
It's on you. We're going to get a really interesting follow tonight. It's all going to be the preppers for the backwoods, Indiana.
Aye. We'll see what happens. There's been very little coming out of the club though in terms of rumours for transfers. It's quite disappointing.
I like it because it means they're actually tight and they're all working at the same fucking goal. Rather than fucking folk desperate to blab. I know something about there's a fullback maybe looking to sign, but I can't tell you his name. You know what I mean? Like, fuck off. Like, I can't be bothered with all that pretend knowledge stuff. You shouldn't. If it's a secret, it's a secret. Then they let anyone get in the way of the deal. That's how I would see it. They should all be signing NDAs or whatever they need to sign. They shouldn't be fucking blabbing their mouth off.
What I say is, if you do have any good gossip, you can forward it to us. We'll not tell anybody.
No,
we just like
I'll not tell them the whole bit. We'll tell them a wee bit.
A wee winky. Right, score predictions, and we'll wrap up. Colin,
2-1
Hibs. John,
I'm going 3-1 Hibs on the basis of what Colin said, and the form table of the goals that we've conceded are about equal. But Hibs have scored almost 3 times as many in the goals for column, so 3-1 Hibs.
3-1 Hibs. I think that's quite a good shout, and I quite like your logic with it, John. So I'm going to go one bit. I'm going to say 4-1 Hibs. Aye.
What did you say, Colin? 2-1.
So 2-3 and a 4.
That's the Motherwell average score.
Is it? Motherwell are either half decent or they're shite. There's no in between with them. They're just like, they're one of those teams. Hopefully they have a shite game. I thought we'd been better than the last 2 times we played them. The one at Easter Road that they won swung on that red card for Giannis. So keep 11 men on the pitch. I think we'll win comfortably. Okay, right. We'll be back on Sunday with long bangers. If you've got any talking points of the game, watch out for our Blue Skies message. If you know, and they're going to follow us on there. We're trying to shift off Twitter because of the fucking lunatic fringe that's on there.
Till they catch up with us over there.
Catch up with us, till they find their way over
there.
Musk
will just buy it.
He'll not have any money left because he'll have destroyed the value of Twitter and they'll trust them. Anyway, right. We'll see you